Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Mass Effect. I'm the mysterious JG. I'm playing as Paragon Shepard, but I'm apparently Renegade JG because I keep making promises about what will happen in the next video and then getting delayed or deflected. I spoke to Avina after I swore we wouldn't, and frankly, we're going to have to speak to her at least one more time eventually to get the dialogue about that Krogan statue, and I am trying to showcase almost all the dialogue. And I promised that at the end of the last video we'd be off the Citadel. Well, guess what? We're still on the Citadel, but we're at the Citadel docks, getting ready to step onto the next spaceship as soon as we can get out of this interminable conversation with Captain Anderson. But I do like to give you guys a chance to hear the background, which is why I'm going to ask him, you got blamed? Even though he just told us that he got blamed.
Saren caused the explosion. How'd he pin it on you?
In his report, Saren accused me of blowing his cover.
And just blowing it
He said
general.
it was my fault the guards were ready for us. He claimed that's why it turned into a massacre. Saren's report was all the proof the Council needed to kill my chances of becoming a Spectre.
It's not fair! It's not fair to Flare!
Don't blame yourself, Captain.
It's your fault, but you shouldn't.
I blame Saren. I think he wanted things to go bad.
Don't
He was
blame
looking
yourself.
for an
I never
excuse
said I
to
did,
blow up the
asshole.
fight.
Same deal with you
Maybe he
telling
just likes the
Ashley not
violence.
to blame herself.
Maybe he was just trying to make me look bad.
You tell
to keep
someone not to
humans
blame
out of the
themselves when they
Spectres.
didn't tell you to
If
blame
so, he
themselves.
pulled
It's a
it off.
passive-aggressive way of saying it's their fault. I just spoke over all this dialogue, but you got your subtitles.
Why'd you let him get away with it?
Seriously,
Who do you
bitch.
think the Council was going to listen to? Me? Or their best agent?
He wasn't
I had
leading
a
an army
bad
of Geth
feeling
yet
about
at
him
that
from the
point,
start.
Shepard.
I should have been more careful. Maybe I could have stopped things before they got out of hand.
Alright, we can go back to it wasn't your fault, but...
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
Angry
You're right.
fist pound thing.
It's no good living in the past.
It's just no good anymore.
I want to know the truth about you and Saren. I want to know about the mission you were on together all those years ago.
Shoot, this is the same thing again,
We
isn't
had
it?
intel on a rogue scientist being funded by...
Okay, this is
Alliance
actually... Alright.
We tracked... The plan was simple. Sneak into the
I
plant,
didn't realize I was
capture
going
the
into the same
scientist,
thing again there.
sneak back out. Quick.
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
You're right, Commander. It's no good living in the past.
Living in the past.
What do you know about the Artemis Tau cluster?
Not much. I've never been there myself. A handful of systems with a few small, uncharted worlds, but no real colonies. Might not be easy finding Dr. T'Soni out there. My advice is to look for the world with the Prothean ruins.
Look for the world with the hot blue chick.
Any extra intel you can give me on our colony at Pharos?
The entire planet used to be one giant Prothean city. Mostly ruins now. But some of the infrastructure is still intact. The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left behind. We lost all contact with them when the Geth attacked.
That one I could do. I'd have to be careful to make sure I bring someone with decryption, because there is in the Geth area of that, mission, there's something, I can't remember if it's hard electronics or hard decryption, but I want to make sure we can actually get the info out of it. Novaria is actually one of the more interesting ones, too.
What can you tell me about Novaria?
Novaria's trouble. Always has been. The whole planet's basically a center for corporations to conduct illegal research.
Oh, it's like one of those
Watch your back there.
tax shelter islands.
Spectres are about the only form of Citadel authority Novaria respects. But they aren't popular.
I mean, frankly, folks, this game, it has tons of dialogue. That some of it you have to go through the conversations, although you can skip through them and short circuit them. But there's really only a handful of required missions. You've got to do that first mission that we did. You've got to do the basic mission on the Citadel with, talking to Garrus and rescuing Tali to prove Saren's a traitor. Then the 3 leads we've been given, we got to fulfill all of those. Those will dovetail into a kind of a kind of plot line mission that will then go into a terminal plot line mission. I mean, frankly, there's about 6 or 7 really required missions. If you ignore all side stuff, we're probably a third of the way through the game at this point, but we're not going to ignore all the side stuff. In a third, we're probably not quite a third of the way through the game, but certainly we're a decent chunk into the game if you ignore all the stuff that's optional.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Cool beans. I'll be here if you need to level up again. Talk to me some more. We'll get you leveled, Spectre. Shepard. Excuse me. Much as I'd like to boost all that, my next big concern in freeing myself to use whatever teammates I want is to get sabotage. Then I'll be really torn between sniper rifles and hacking. I would love to get master AI hacking before this whole thing's over. I mean, you have to really... It's not something where you can be 4 points short of maxing a skill and you get the master version of it. But master hacking's awesome. Basically, the Geth become your bitches if you have master AI hacking. Because you can pick the toughest Geth unit in any group, and they have some heavy hitters, and you can temporarily make it fight on your side. You can really fuck with the Geth. It's a lot... Unfortunately, it's a lot less useful in Mass Effect 2. Because without... not necessarily specifically spoiling Mass Effect 2, you're just not fighting the Geth as much. It's just not as big a percentage of the missions you're fighting involve facing off against the Geth anymore. Ash is an easy one. Max out those assault rifles. Matter of fact, unless we actually use her on future missions, there's really not a ton of point in leveling these guys up, because I don't know if I'll be using them next time around. And what do we say we're going to do with Tali? Basic armor? No, we're working our way towards shotguns. That's right. Alright, good stuff. Oh. Inspect the weapons. The weapons. That would have leveled us up. If we didn't get experience from talking to Anderson, that would have leveled us up. People who already know the game and are not watching this for information on the series may have noticed the amounts of experience I'm getting from these little conversations and stuff seems a little high. You have a passive bonus to experience increased because I've won the game previously, which to me is fair. If you like a game enough to replay through it, they should, make the grinding a little easier on you. Enter the Normandy.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress.
I know Bobo's excited. Now he'll get to see the kind of humor that we use to keep things light on the Normandy.
Decontamination in progress.
Isn't that hilarious? Oh, I'm scared it's gonna break my face.
I heard what happened to Captain Anderson. Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics.
Haha, that is hilarious,
Just watch
Joker.
your back, Commander. Things go bad on this mission, you're next on their chopping block.
I don't have a problem with Seth Green, but I really wish Joker was played by Michael Ironside.
Captain Anderson should be the one in charge. It's like I'm stealing the ship from him.
Yeah, you're all broken
the
up
captain
about it,
got
we can tell.
screwed. But it's not like you could have stopped it. Nobody's blaming you. Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%.
Could have used some lube when I
Intercom's
screwed
open.
him, but...
If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
No, we're doing it my way. I need to be honest with them. I need to be Paragon.
This is Commander Shepard speaking.
We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy.
Nobody's gonna stop us.
For too long, our species has stood apart from the others.
Now it's time for us to step up and do our part
What
for
the
rest
hell?
of
Am
the
I
galaxy.
irradiated? What's going
Time
on?
to show them what humans are made of.
Our enemy knows we're coming.
When we go into the Traverse, Saren's followers will be waiting for
Hold
us.
on a second, folks. I need
But
to
we'll be
sneeze.
ready for them, too.
Oh, I really do need to sneeze. That's like, I thought I needed to sneeze. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Humanity needs to do this.
I'm kind of under
Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of every other species in Citadel space. Saren must be
I agree.
stopped. And I
There's
promise
some-
you all,
I've got
we
sick
will
of the
stop
voice.
it.
Well said,
Kaiden?
Commander. Captain would be proud.
He doesn't matter anymore. Basically, the Renegade path. I mean, I was talking to Bobo about this earlier today, joking about how, something I said a long time ago on my LP of Rumble Roses about how the Rumble Roses definition of evil is a little weird. The Black Belt Demon is evil because she's slutty and a little stuck up. And I was joking about how I couldn't picture her, like, say, destroying Megaton in Fallout or whatever. But this is like the Renegade path in this game. You can do some pretty evil stuff in the Renegade path, but dialogue-wise, the Renegade is basically just you being a douchebag. He doesn't matter anymore.
The captain gave up everything so I could have this chance. We can't fail.
Not with Infinite
Yes, sir.
Continues. Yeah, Paragon +4, motherfuckers. See, look, we're like a fifth of the way towards being Jesus. Okay.
Commander, something you need?
I just wanted to stare at you creepily.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet.
A little
Top of my
sensitive,
class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
You're contagious. I didn't even know he had a disease. Well, I mean, I did, but only because I played the game before. I don't think it's come up before.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You're a sick puppy.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap.
Now that I know, you're fired.
Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
And I don't remember if we get new dialogue with him every time we finish a mission. So just to be safe, we probably want to go through it all.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
Because I'm
It's
played
a
by
lot
Mike
shorter than
Lawrence.
saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
You're dodging the question.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
I could make a smile.
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot.
Well, if you're pretty
By the end
blonde,
of the
you
year,
smile a
I
lot.
was the best pilot in the academy. Even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it.
Better than you,
They'd all
Cap.
got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
How the hell do you do your job?
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
And that was a douchey
I don't
thing to
fly
say.
with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair.
Actually, I have a
Careful
special
when I get
control
to take
attached to
this
my
stuff.
penis, Commander.
I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Let's talk about my
Whatever
various
you want,
diseases.
Commander.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
Is she
She's
my
the best
special
ship
lady?
in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her.
I know how to handle her.
Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful.
She's got power.
The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander.
The Normandy
Lucky
is
for
too
you,
much for
I'm
some
anything
women,
but average.
but others find it. No, okay. You know what? I'm done.
I have to go.
All right, see ya.
Just remembering that TV Funhouse sketch where Clark Kent basically went around, or Superman went around basically arranging chicks to date Clark Kent. But just being like, thanks for saving me, Superman. Oh, it's no problem. You know, I'd like to tell you about my friend Clark Kent. He's a big guy. He's too big for some women to handle comfortably. But other women find him truly satisfying. I didn't make it up, folks. And somehow when he starts, I don't know, something Joker said just triggered Clark Kent in this massive way in my mind. Sorry. I know that little animation there, him wiping his forehead, always weirds me out.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
None.
Wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
So I might not have little chit-chat options with all the characters then.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
Okay, we've
I
been
should
through
go.
all this.
Goodbye, Commander.
Alright, so Rex and Garrus will be hanging out, and Tali, they all just permanently joined us. It's really kind of awkward. They never really make it make sense that those guys permanently joined our crew. But they have, and therefore I could find them and chat with them. Which would, probably, I'm looking at the time, this will probably make the video go more than half an hour. I think I put in a caveat that I might not quite get off Citadel. That's going to be the pattern on this LP, folks. The little submissions you do don't generate new dialogue, but every time you do one of the major plot missions, you end up having a whole bunch of new dialogue with all your crew members. And if you want to get the best kind of passive invisible relationship score with them, so that you can get their side missions to unlock, you pretty much need to chat them up all the time. I'm pretty sure we talked to Engineer Adams already, and he doesn't get new dialogue.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into
I'm
a
good
ship
at
this
fitting
small.
big things into small spaces, Tali.
I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
Yeah, and we've never created killer robots either.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla.
Its name was Tugboat.
I'm sitting on
It
board one
teamed
of
up
the
with the
most
earthquake and
advanced
formed the
vessels in
natural
Citadel
disaster.
space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
That was 300 years ago. See, I was paying attention before.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being
well,
repaired,
fuck
modified,
you.
and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine and process our own fuel.
And take our weird headdresses
But
and
some
pull them
things
across
we
our
just
boob.
can't make on our own.
But only one.
A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet.
And the Borg
There are
Collective.
17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong.
They're bondage barbarians.
Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
We had the NSA too.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child.
Oh, they're Chinese.
If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births. Though the Conclave hasn't
We
had to
have
take
bring
such
an
measures in
Octomom.
nearly a century.
The Enclave.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole.
It's not at all a ripoff
On
of
matters
Battlestar
that affect an
Galactica.
individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
You a small D Democrat?
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction.
This is absolutely
The
fascinating.
5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency.
Now this background
To do
stuff
so
actually does
requires
become kind of
unanimous
important, but not
agreement
till
among
Mass
the
Effect 2,
Admiralty.
really.
And they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
And every time it's when the Conclave was trying to legalize gay marriage. Yeah, no, I mean, all this background stuff, I have to give them credit. I'm pretty sure, well, they clearly knew they were going for a sequel. Not that it's unheard of for games to plan for a sequel that is not ever going to happen. See the, Bionic Commando 2000, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff they put into place knowing that they would get into the details later. Like, we eventually, very mild spoiler alert, but over the course of the entire Mass Effect series, yes, we will actually interact at one point with the Quarian fleet. And we'll see some of this stuff actually, mattering. But right now, it's just background info on Tali.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile.
In their robocar.
All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Well, I have very poor memories.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI.
Or V.
Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
Or IE status. Yo, stupid of you.
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
Well, we didn't tell them.
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal.
Yeah.
The changes were so insignificant,
You guys worked for
so
AIG?
gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. 1 million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So, the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
Like some kind of ritual?
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that.
Yes,
They cannot share
no,
sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious.
I think they retcon this later,
when
but
they're
I
in
don't
close
really remember.
proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
It's basically an explanation for why later in the game the Geth are actually have a somewhat smarter AI. And I mean AI in the sense of, the compute, like, as enemies, they actually are a bit smarter in how they fight you.
That doesn't make any sense.
You're
I'm probably
crazy.
oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large
I might not be
numbers.
simplifying enough. You do seem
As
rather
we built
dim.
more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose?
What
As
up,
you can
dog?
imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
Dude, I mean, why can't you just chill out? You've been watching too many Terminator movies?
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
Coming from a
The Geth
blender?
were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against
Thomas
the
Jefferson was
situation.
sleeping with this Geth.
We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all
Morpheus
Quarian
doesn't know
control
who acted
systems
first,
to
but now we
permanently
do.
Deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
What did you expect?
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution, By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began.
And they still kicked your
The hope
sorry
was that
asses.
most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld.
I can see why the rest of the universe is kind
We
of
feared
pissed
the
off
Geth
with these
would
guys.
pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Serves you right.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
You guys blow.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
Because you guys are such douchebags.
They didn't kill Saren.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren.
She's got
and
a point.
that's why we have to stop him.
I mean, Mass Effect throws some stuff at you to actually mull over and think about if you're so inclined. You can feel sorry for the Geth, but a lot of what she's saying about how there's really not an easy way to reconcile with these guys, they pretty much just want to kill you, even if it's not their fault that the fucked up shit happened to them in the past. I wouldn't really volunteer to be the guy who's going to fly over by myself in a spaceship waving a white flag and asking them to chill out and be our friends.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
Oh god, it's actually
When
time to end the video,
reach
isn't it?
maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no
Otherwise,
ship
we
wants
all
to
end up a
accept
bunch of
someone
freaks
will
who
be
can't
a
even
burden.
breathe outside of an atmospheric
So,
suit.
to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us.
If
We
you don't do
only
anything
return
useful,
once
you
we
end
have
up
found something of
in
value
Hufflepuff
we can bring
ship.
back to the fleet.
Shitty.
This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
I'm all
It's
broken
not
up
like
about
they
it.
just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey.
Like my funky
We
shawl.
also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most.
Hence the outfit.
By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
We're so close to the end here, folks.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
If he's a
And
douche.
that doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society.
But the Slytherin
Even when the
dudes
gift
will
is not
sometimes reject gifts because
particularly
they're
valuable,
evil.
the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find
It's like
something
taking a girl on a
worthwhile.
first date to McDonald's.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
Like, not talking to you anymore.
I should go.
See you later.
So we got experience, codex info on the Quarians up the wazoo, I'm sure. And more importantly, I don't know exactly what the requirements are, but as we chat Tali up and get more opportunities to do so as the plot advances, she will eventually tell us, oh, by the way, Shepard, at such and such planet, at such and such quest that I totally want to do. And, yeah, we want to do that. I think it vaguely impacts the future Mass Effect games, but not really. I decided when I started this LP, I haven't committed to doing every single side mission, but I want to do the character-specific side missions. So, whew, wow, I thought we were going to be out of the Citadel by now, but no, I just got stuck talking to Tali. We got to do this again with Garrus, Ashley, and Rex, Ashley's might be pretty short, because I think she might not have a new set of stuff to talk about beyond what we could have talked to her about after Eden Prime. But Rex and Garrus are pretty cool anyway, so that should be fun. By the end of the next video, maybe we'll actually get somewhere. I'm Mysterious JG. I'd like to thank you guys very much for watching, and tune in next time for more of Commander Shepard's talk show. Bye-bye.